Hello, everyone, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and welcome to the review of Prime Video's The Boys' fifth and final season, first two episodes, which dropped on Prime Video April the 8th. This is, like I mentioned before, the final season of The Boys, which is one of my favorite shows to come out in the last 15 years, I would say. Really enjoyed this show. All four seasons prior to this release, I was on the edge of my seat every single season. Some seasons were a little weaker than others, but even their weakest seasons were well written and well acted and had just off the wall bananas storytelling that didn't have the cuffs on at all. It was no holding this show back. It went full in. Whatever needed to be shown, it was shown. It didn't matter what it was, and I'm not talking blood and gore, which this show has a lot of, but even the crude sexualized nature of things, it didn't care. And that's what I loved about it. Not that I'm into all of this stuff, but it was just the mere fact that they had the cojones to pull this off, to actually do this and not pull back at all. Man, I can't help but respect a show like that. Once again, the show stars Karl Urban, Jack Quaid, Antony Starr, Jessie T, Usher, Erin Moriarty, and a cast of others. Just a slew of performers on this show. In this particular season, the world is dominated by Homelander, and Annie January, aka Starlight, has formed a resistance to Homelander while the rest of the team is scattered. Billy Butcher reappears and gathers the boys to take down Homelander, ready to use a virus capable of wiping out all the Supes in the world. One of the other things that I loved about this show is the way they incorporate the current political landscape. You know, when this show premiered, we were going through the first Orange administration. Now it's about to end with this latest Orange administration, and I think that's why the show kind of suffered in the middle, because we didn't have anything to bounce off of. I mean, they had stuff to bounce off of, but not to this degree, to whereas you can look at this show and look at the news and it's virtually a carbon copy of each other. So that was one of the many reasons why I was looking forward to season 5, because oh boy, they have a lot to bounce off of, especially in the last couple of years with this clown show that's going on in Washington, D.C. And so we pick up season 5, the final season, episode 1, entitled 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite, a year after the events of the season 4 finale. Homelander has consolidated his power. You have Starlight infiltrating this vault shareholders meeting, and then she leaks the flight photo, not photo, but video, where all the way back in season 1, when Homelander and Queen Maud had allowed those passengers to die on that plane. This was after Homelander lasered a couple of them and just left them there. And there was a video. So she was able to leak that at this shareholders meeting, and it kind of damages Homelander's reputation. Well, it ain't kind of, it damaged his reputation. And Sister Sage, who we know as the smartest person in the world, they devised this plan to whereas it was AI generated, which once again is another current thing that we're going through in this world. You look at social media, you don't know what's real and fake. I watched the whole video the other day, and I thought it was real. I thought it was real. It was on TikTok, I think. I sent it to my wife, and she was like, "Oh yeah, it's AI." I'm like, "Oh, it is." I thought it was real. It messed me up. I wasn't looking for the uncanny valley, and I just thought it was an interesting video. But hey, I got tricked. I got bamboozled. And this is what they're trying to pass it off as uh on the show. That video was generated by Starlight to damage Homelander. And so Sister Sage, she responds by discrediting the footage, as I said, and uh she uses Ashley, who is now the vice president of the United States, to send this message on, while Homelander forces Sister Sage to leak out information, leak out this tip that they're going to execute Huey, Mother's Milk, and Frenchie at these at this what you call it, a freedom camp they call it, but it's a concentration camp where they all got to dress up as Homeland along with some starlighters who've been captured and whatnot. And so leak that information so they can flush out Butcher and Starlight to come rescue them. And they all know it's a trap. But even so, either way it go, he's going to kill them. He's going to kill Huey, Mother's Milk, and Frenchie either way. So they still got to rescue him. But Butcher has another plan. Butcher wants to break out Frenchie. That's his main goal. And the reason for that is because of the virus that can kill all Supes. And so his reasoning is more selfish than anything. He just want to use Frenchie to execute his plan with this virus that can wipe out Supes, namely Homelander. We see that Butcher, he visits his father, who we learned in previous seasons that he wasn't Father of the Year by no stretch of the imagination, and he essentially kills him. They didn't really state that he killed him, but it sounded like he killed him. It sounded like he got killed, but they didn't really show it on screen. But I'm assuming that he did kill him. But I mentioned that because Butcher is taking a super dark turn. I know since he took the V compound that he's kind of, you know, what was said in the Dark Knight. Harvey Dent said it. Either you die the villain, or either you die the hero or live long enough to become the villain. That's basically where we at with Butcher. He's turning into this villain. He doesn't care anymore. He has one goal. He is singular focused on killing Homelander, even if that means himself as well, because he's a Supe now. The one thing that he hates the most, he is, and that's a Supe. And with this virus, it will wipe him out as well, along with every other Supe, including Starlight and Kamiko. And let me, I'll bring up Kamiko because Butcher did meet up with Kamiko to recruit her, as well as Annie. When they meet up with Annie, we get the first spoken words from Kamiko in this series altogether. And at this moment, in this scene, just one scene of her talking, I felt cheated for 4 seasons. Man, Kamiko was hilarious. The first 2 episodes, her dialogue and the delivery from Karen Fukuhara was hilarious. She was great in these 2. She really stole these 2 episodes to me. I loved her, and I loved her when she didn't speak. That's how I always felt she was great as an actress, because she didn't speak for 4 seasons, but she was great in those 4 seasons. Now you actually allow her to speak. She's even better. I was so into her speaking. It is so earned. I guess that's probably why you appreciate it more, because it's earned. We finally got to it. And she tells Annie that she learned from speech therapy and TikTok. And so she basically speaks in social media speak. if that's a thing. But that's what she sounds like. The way she talks is very teenagers, if that's a word. And she speaks like a teenager, and it's hilarious coming out of her mouth. Very unexpected. So after they joined the clan, getting the band back together again, Annie, she puts in a call to A Train to see if he would assist in the rescue. You know, if he can run in and take them out one by one, if that's possible. He doesn't have to fight, just run in and catch them. But he refuses. You know, he's like, no, because I have a family to protect. But deep down, it's not about protecting his family. We know that it's really fear. It was fear that was guiding his thinking and decision making at this point, which is also understandable. Both cases, because he has seen firsthand what Homelander is capable of and what he would do to those who are disloyal to him and whatnot and have betrayed him. And so, yeah, I would be scared too, especially against a super being that is virtually invincible. I don't want that smoke. So he refuses and goes back to his family. But they devise another plan. We bring back the worm. We bring back the worm who tunnels, who eats dirt. And the method that he eats the dirt is amazing, man. He's not a beaver, but whatever burrows through the ground. But the dirt has to exit. And so as he's chewing up the dirt exits through his butt. And I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't know. My mind is, I'm scared of myself sometimes because I'm sitting there and I was in awe. And we seen this last season with the worm, but it's just something when I watched this episode, I'm like, man, this is so genius. Why nobody ever thought of it? I don't know why. I was just enamored by this power. I'm just hoping if we are ever granted the abilities to have super abilities, if the Compound V is available at your local pharmacist, I hope if I take it, I don't get that one. I'm just saying it is an interesting ability to have. Anyways, Annie, she was going to create the distraction outside, allowing the group to scatter around before Homelander begins his attack. Well, Homelander was there. Homelander was waiting on them as they entered the camp. We knew it was a trap. We were just trying to find out at this point, how did Butcher, did he devise a way around the trap? There was a guard at this camp that, once again, going back through the seasons, the first episode or the first two episodes, there's always a shock and awe moment every single season. And I was wondering when we were going to get that moment. Was it going to be episode 1 or 2? Well, we got it in 1. We got it in 1. And that was this guard at the state. What was it? Love Sausage is his name. And if you don't know what that is, and you didn't watch these episodes, use your imagination. I'm gonna try to do my best without going too vocal. Well, it's no way. It's no way to describe it. There is absolutely no way to describe it but to describe it. So, warning to those with virgin ears. But Love Sausage is exactly that. He has a love sausage, and a long one, and a pretty thick one as well. And he beats the prisoners at this camp with it. And this is what, but Mother's Milk has a beef with him. I don't know if he was beaten with it over this past year or not, but he has it out for him. And so during the break-in or the breakout attempt, he's coming after Love Sausage. So they fight. Love Sausage is using his sausage to do to whoop him up, but in the end, Mother's Milk takes Love Sausage, and strangle him with it and kills him, which I thought was just so poetic. It was the most poetic death I've seen in a very long time. Anywho's, meanwhile, you have Homelander and Butcher going fisticuffs. Homelander, he goes after Huey. He kills one of the inmates there, grabs Huey, about to kill Huey, as Butcher races to him to try to kill him instead. But just then, time stops, and we get a X-Men Days of Future Past moment with Quicksilver. And this was done just as good. It's not greater than. It's just not greater than, because that was so cinematic on the big screen and everything like that. And it was the first time you've seen anything like that. A Speed Force used in that manner in live action. But here, I liked how they did it on the show. Very subtle and, not too big, not too grandioso, but it was a very cool moment to see A-Train show up and have his hero moment. And we've been waiting for 5 seasons for him to have that moment. And at that precise moment, I knew A-Train's dead. I knew that was it. It blew my mind that we got it this early. It blew my mind. But A-Train, he comes in, he pulls the grenade pins out of some of the soldiers, or one of the soldiers' vest. He moves Huey out the way. He manages to push Mother's Milk out of the way of a bullet. He does all that before time returns back. And it was cool. And Homelander, being the poster child of don't make decisions in anger, because you have all your enemies in one spot. You can wipe all of them out right now. But he was so angry at A-Train, he went after A-Train, leaving the boys to escape. And so as the team escapes, A-Train, he's running, being chased by Homelander. Homelander is keeping up because he's Homelander. But a beautiful callback to the very first episode of this show, season 1, episode 1, when we were introduced to A-Train, and how it all kicked off between him and Huey, when A-Train, high on the Compound V, running through the city. Huey's girlfriend is standing on the curb. A-Train is running by, and he just vaporizes Huey's girlfriend. And that's what really kicked off this show. And we get a callback to it right here. Number one, before he ran off, Huey looked over at A-Train and saw that he saved him. And it was just a moment. They didn't say anything between each other, but it was just a moment. A-Train didn't look back at him because he was too focused on Homelander at that point, and he ran off. But it was like Huey, he gave a look that was like, not so much thank you, but like of a forgiveness type look. But going back to this little chase here, there's a woman, she's getting out of her car, she's talking on the phone, walking across the street. A-Train is running down the street, and he looks up and he sees the woman in the middle of the street, and he slows up. He slows up just enough to kind of dodge around her, and while doing that, he saved the girl, but he lost his balance, fell through the woods or wherever, and Homelander managed to catch up to him and kill him. Ultimately kill him. But before he killed him, A-Train gave just a beautiful moment. I think this was the best death. This was the best Jesse Usher I've seen. And I don't have a real problem with Jesse Usher as an actor, but it, he's not the strongest of actors. I'll put it like that. He's not bad. He's just not the strongest. This was the strongest I've ever seen him. To the point where I'm like, all right, I think he got it. I think he's that dude. He can lead a show. He can lead a movie now. I feel confident just from this one scene between him and Homelander. He's talking to Homelander and he's like, "Why was I scared?" He just started laughing. He was like, "Why was I scared? You're nothing, man. You're a coward." He was, and it was sincere. It wasn't just to mess with him. Like, I know I'm dead moment. I know this is it for me moment. So I'm gonna get my little shot in. No, he was really sincere in his delivery and how he talked to Homelander. He like, "You're nothing." How I know? Because when when Homelander grabbed him by the throat and was choking the life out of him, he was still laughing. He was still laughing at him. And Homelander just snapped his neck. That was it. His last breath was a laugh. And I thought that was perfect. That was so perfect and shocking at the same time because I didn't expect A-Train to go out so early. I didn't think he was going to make it through the season, but I also didn't expect him to die in the very first episode of the season. But that's how the episode ends. And this was the perfect way to be reintroduced to this world, introduced to this final season. I thought this was a perfect episode. I didn't find out one flaw in this episode. It clearly the stronger of the two that was released. Even though episode 2 was good, but I think this one was the better one. It set up everything you needed to know about this season going forward and what everybody's motivations are, what the intent is, and I'm all for it. I was like, you got me. If I didn't watch one episode of The Boys, and this was my first time watching it, and I chose to pick this one, I would be hooked. I would immediately go back and start binging the first 4 seasons because I would be hooked. This was an awesome introduction to the season. We move on to episode 2 entitled Teenage Kicks. This episode we find Butcher. He leads the team to this laboratory he runs with Shamir, the doctor from last season who came up with this virus. Shamir, he's a little skeptical because he doesn't know the story behind Victoria Newman's death. He doesn't know that Butcher is the one who killed him, because Butcher, killed her, I should say, because Butcher, of course, lied like he always do. He lied to him in order to get his cooperation in this endeavor. And so there's a lot of tension there, I would say. They plan to test the virus on Rock Hard from Teenage Kicks. In Teenage Kicks, you got to watch Gen V for all that. I'm not going to go into that because I didn't watch every episode of Gen V, even though it was decent, the little I watched, but I just, for some strange reason, it got lost in the sauce. But anyway, Homelander is at home sulking about what took place the last episode with A-Train and after A-Train's funeral, which it was crazy, that funeral. The funeral, everybody celebrating Homelander. I keep saying so. Well, they were celebrating Homelander as well. I didn't misspeak there, but they're celebrating A-Train, but the man that killed him is sitting right there. You know what I'm saying? It was weird, to say the least. At home, he decides to wake up dear old dad. from comatose state, Soldier Boy, and not Soldier Boy tell him, but Soldier Boy, in order to help him track down Butcher, because Homelander knows that Soldier Boy is the best tracker. If anybody can find him, Soldier Boy can. And so he convinces Soldier Boy to help him out in this, even though Soldier Boy tried to kill him. you know, and so Soldier Boy is like, "Well, I want to work with you. I want to help you because I tried to kill you. What's to say that you won't try to get your lick back?" So obviously he was hesitant at first, but eventually he accepted the offer after agreeing to do it in exchange for clearing his name. Huey, Butcher, and Chemical, they get the virus from the lab, but encounter Soldier Boy on their way to Teenage Kick's home, forcing them to flee. And so Soldier Boy, he then aligns himself with Teenage Kick's members, Jet Streak and She-Line. And they hunt down the boys. During a confrontation, Chemical knocks She-Line unconscious, while Soldier Boy and Jet Streak pursue Huey to the base, where Frenchie ends up releasing the virus. Both Jet Streak and Rock Hard are killed. So that they realize that the virus does work. The test was successful. It also puts down Soldier Boy, who we initially thought was dead, and I initially felt like, okay, this show is they really messed up because this is one of the best characters. Why would you introduce him in one episode and kill him immediately? It was stupid. But then common sense crept in, like, nah, he's not dead, because they showed everybody else head explode or insides being vomited out. Soldier Boy just got some real bad acne. And so, so later on, when Homelander and the Deep come to the scene to see what all took place, Homelander gets the Deep to leave, and he's looking over Soldier Boy, and he's just upset. He's like, man, why does this keep happening? Why is everybody leaving me? And bro, at this moment, I just thought about how the Emmys are full of crap. Because for 4 seasons, going into a 5th, Antony Starr has been doing God's work. He is amazing as Homelander. And this scene is proof positive of that. He was phenomenal. He was good. He was good in every scene. Don't get me wrong. There's never a bad scene of his as this character. But I love this scene so much. You can see the hinges starting to come off. It's starting to become too much for him because everybody is leaving. Everybody has left him. Black Noir, he killed him, the original one. A-Train, you saw the early breaks in the beginning of this episode. How is not him. What's her name? Was it Stormfront? I believe from season 3. She's going. Everybody around him. The woman, Elizabeth Shue character from the first season, he killed her too. But the crazy part about it, he's breaking down in this manner that you believe him. You actually feel his pain. But you also have to consider he killed all these people. He's the one who killed them. He's questioning why are they leaving, but he's the reason they're gone. He killed them, or forced them away. It's like he can't catch a break. It's a no-win situation. And so he's saying all this over Soldier Boy's body, and he leaves. And as he walks away, all of a sudden in the body bag, Soldier Boy body rises up and the episode ends. I am excited and sad at the same time to know that this is it. To know that there's, after this season, after we get to episode 8 on May the 20th. That's it for this show. This has been prime television. And I am so happy that it's back. The Boys it's been sorely missed. I didn't realize I missed it so much until these 2 episodes dropped. I am so excited for the rest of this season. And in the immortal words of the late great Cisco and Ebert, I give the first 2 episodes of The Boys season 5 2 thumbs up. I can't wait for the rest of this season. I would like to know, what did you think of the first 2 episodes of the final season of The Boys? Did you like it? Did you love it? Are you excited that it's back and sad that it's going at the same time like me? Let me know. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of The Boys Season 5, Episode 1 and 2, the final season begins. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.